Paul, Sam, thank you very much for joining us on the podcast, and thank you very much for having us here at the Eagles Arena. It's great to be here. I'm sure a lot of people know about your history with the Eagles. Probably not a lot of people know about your kind of sporting backgrounds. So to kind of save a little bit of modesty here, Paul, if you could tell us about Sam's sporting background, and then Sam, if you could tell us about Paul's.
I get the easy job. So Sam hates people talking about this, but Sam's Newcastle's first female Olympian. Went to Barcelona in '92.
A long time ago.
I know. I shouldn't have said the year, should I? Yeah. So you had a very storied swimming career, and very proud of that.
Thank you.
That's all right.
What I know about Paul, played to a high level, came into what is now the Eagles setup when he was at university up here. Didn't transition all the way through into playing for the professional team, but incredibly didn't really have a coach.
Wow.
So in terms of what we've now set up here, Paul didn't have the equivalent living in Bristol to enable him to be the best he possibly could. Whereas in swimming, I did. Yeah. So I did have the whole development scheme in swimming and couldn't quite believe my eyes and ears coming into basketball that didn't exist for children. Not just in the northeast, but it's very patchy depending on where you live.
How did you get into basketball in the first place?
One of my PE teachers was a basketball player. So the two predominant sports in our school were football and basketball. So I started playing from 11, 12 years of age, and the basketball kind of took over, football dropped off, and ended up applying to come to the Poly here.
Yeah.
Because it had it still does to this day, a really solid sports degree. So made the journey up and stayed.
Paul, you took over the run of the Newcastle Eagles almost 29 years ago.
Took over in 99.
99, yeah. How did that come about, and were you prepared for what was to come?
So how it came about, I was the marketing manager for Newcastle United Sporting Club, and that project lasted just short of 3 years. So Sir John bought the three teams in 96, Falcons, Eagles, Cobras Ice Hockey. And it didn't work as a project for the club, and Sir John took the decision at the end of the 98-99 season to divest of the project, but wanted to make sure that the teams still continued. My boss brought me into the discussion to sell the three teams, and we found a buyer for the Falcons in Dave Thompson, ultimately at the time, Paul Mackins and Dave Thompson. The two of us were both players. Ken Nottage, my boss, had played for Sunderland for years before the franchise had moved from Sunderland to Newcastle when the arena opened. And we took a look at it and started talking about the opportunity for a buyout and to take the club on. It was either that or a redundancy payment and move on. Yeah, I mean it's been a roller coaster ride, that's for sure.
Sam, you joined a little later. What was the main driver for you to get involved?
I was working at Northumbria University at the time. I'd just graduated, and I think 2 years I realised that to work in a big organisation wasn't me, and I really struggled working for a big organisation. Certainly nothing to do with the university. I just think it's my personality. So when Paul took it over, it became quite apparent that we really needed to build a community programme. And like I say, that's completely singing to everything that I've benefited from 7 years of age of swimming. So I came in pledging to help support to set up what I had all the way from being 7 all the way through to Olympics, to give back to the city that had given me a lot. So that's really, I suppose, why I came in, to give back, to pay back.
where we are now compared to where we were when you came in, what's the big differential, especially on the kind of foundation side?
It's complete chalk and cheese, really, isn't it?
It didn't exist at the time. So Sam was part of that decision-making process to even take it on in the
Right.
first place.
Yeah.
And then about a year later, maybe, year and a bit later, you
Yeah, in a
joined.
bit, yeah.
Yeah. So at that point, there was nothing really. There were, 2 or 3 staff in the club trying to keep it alive, essentially. And a view that if we didn't engage in community properly, then the club wouldn't survive. There weren't many people playing at the time. The local league had died a bit across the 90s. So I just thought, we need to bring a development officer in and try and help grow the sport. Got support from some partners in the region at the time to help support the role, and that was Deirdre. And then we realised that was the right decision across that first year, 18 months, and that was the beginning of starting to build a very large, very successful community programme.
Yeah.
It has been incredibly tough, but also incredibly rewarding at the same time. And we've been joined on this journey by so many amazing people. So many. You talk about Dean, you talk about Susan, you talk about Fam. Like, there's just so many who've just given, again, majority of their adult lives and work to do this and to give back to our community. And although we did start with Newcastle, we're now across the North East, and that's really important to us. And I love talking about Sunderland because that's really important to us as well, the history.
It's very important to me as well, Sunderland. So, just to get that out there as well.
The rich history of, how many years the club has been here is really important.
Yeah.
And in terms of kind of match day for the juniors, are they all here?
Yes.
Yes.
Literally, this place is just full of young people and families. On
Must
a
be a
weekend.
brilliant atmosphere for
It
them
is.
games.
Yes, it is.
Central venues for sport, I always think, work really well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because there's a bit of a family togetherness and everyone's...
Yeah.
That's right.
You see the same people time and time again.
That's right. And people hang out as well.
Yeah.
So, and then we've got a cafe, and it does have a genuinely lovely feeling here.
Yeah.
It really does.
And the kids,
It's nice because they all get to meet each other and they all know each other because they're in, like you say, they see each other every week.
Yeah.
So, you'll be in town and we've got, friends whose youngsters are in here, and they genuinely feel safer in town because of the amount of youngsters they know, even though they might be in different clubs because we run 14 club sites. They all know each other, so they'll always look out for each other.
That'll help as well because there'll be different age groups and people will know different people. If you bump into them, it is that you'll say hello, what on the street, and there is that community feel even with the juniors as well.
Yes, that's right.
Over the last 29 years, your roles would have changed dramatically. What would a typical week look like for you both now?
I don't have one. But I was going to say, yours probably hasn't changed that much, has it? Has it?
Broadly the same. Honestly,
Broadly the
it's
same.
broadly the same as it always has been, other than we're bolting on a building and
I was going to say, mine's changed massively because of the arena.
yeah.
So as today, I'm covering ops.
Yes, yeah.
So with having the building and having external events, it's very, very different. It's completely different to when we go back to those years. It's all on basketball development, everything, every moment of the day. Whereas now it's not. It's how to make sure we pay the bills and keep everything the way it should be in this building.
So you're more running the business side of it than kind of building.
100%, yes.
And in terms of kind of central funding from kind of the basketball organisation, I'm guessing by the look on both your faces now, it's very limited.
It's less than limited, it's zero.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
Yeah. We only exist because the local community want us to be here. It's the only reason we exist.
And is that through kind of people coming in, spending the money when they're coming in the cafe, and then the local sponsors? Yeah,
and the whole philosophy of building the building in the first place was that we'd done 14 years at the arena, which was great. Some amazing memories, and particularly the bands coming in and out of your office accidentally. So they've taken the wrong route up the stairs. We talk a lot about learning from failure, and the toughest days obviously often give you the kind of the most incentive to go on. Was there any kind of one-off time that you think that was really tough, and on the back of that you change what you do and you're stronger for it?
I think the most recent was COVID. I think for us the biggest challenge was shutting the doors. What was it, March the 20-something in 2020?
Well, we'd only been open 13 months.
Yeah, which in terms of on the business plan was the worst time to close, because being entrepreneurial, there's always some route, there's always something you can do, but actually being told lock up and go home, there's nothing that you can do.
No.
A lot of businesses went online, but what can we do that's online?
Yes. Yeah.
I was really comfortable with that in a funny way, because there literally wasn't anything you could do.
Yes.
It was forced upon.
We did what we always do. We found a way, and we had some good fortune as well during that period. The call from Chris Taylor and ultimately Robert Forrester for naming rights of the venue happened during that COVID period with Virtue.
That was late, wasn't it? That was late COVID.
That was late COVID.
So early COVID was horrible, awful, because you still had to pay the bills. Yeah. You couldn't turn the electricity off in here or the gas. You still had to pay the insurance. Everything was coming out. Your HP loans were coming out, but nothing was coming in.
Nothing was coming in at all.
Nothing, not a penny. It was horrible, it was awful.
You would probably say as bad as anyone, ultimately in a venue that relies on people walking through the door.
Yeah.
And again, the starting the business up again would have took you time as well, because I'm guessing when you reopened it was at kind of limited capacity.
It was very,
Well, we had to shed staff, which again, it was like, that's the worst thing. I don't know if you've ever had to go through that, but it's horrible, it's awful. And you kind of got to forgive yourself for doing that. It's just an awful situation to be in. But when furlough was stopping, we had no choice, because we weren't, there was, again, we were in that.
Didn't know what was going to happen.
We were in that situation. And it was we went back into a small amount of back to play with really tough guidelines at the time. And then it was a call from the NHS that came in, a local GP, who asked if they could use the arena for vaccinations. And we were out walking the dog at the time, weren't we?
Yeah.
You talk about sliding doors and angels.
Mm-hmm.
And for us to get that call, and as you say, then Virtue came in.
We were a warehouse for food as well.
We were
early on for families in the West End. But yeah, it was the vaccination centre.
And Virtue coming in, it was just unbelievable.
We ended up, well, we didn't personally, but we ended up doing 125,000 vaccinations here.
Wow.
Across that period, from December through to probably the following September.
It was 12 months. Yeah, it was 12 months that we were called upon. And that was an absolute privilege, and gave this building purpose again, which was incredible. And I'll never forget, it was 2 days before Christmas, and that was our over 80s who came into the building. And we have just under 1,000 over 80s coming into the building. And a lot hadn't been out of the house since March. And they were bringing in food for the NHS who were on site and all the volunteers. And it was just incredible to see, and to also be able to help and support by opening the doors.
Yeah. And it again comes back to the core elements of the building. It's a community building. It serves the purpose of community. Yeah. Basketball wasn't available at that moment in time, so what else can you do to support?
That's right. That's right.
What do you think sport can teach business, and vice versa, about leadership, teamwork, and winning under pressure?
I think what we do in sport is just a speeded up version of what we do in business. Essentially, having decisions are coming quicker, having to pivot, and just all the tasks that you have to deliver on a daily basis in a business. It's very similar to what's happening on a court or on a pitch, and it's how you deal with them, the good and the bad. I always say that the referees are like the ultimate chief exec, because they're having to make a decision every couple of seconds even, and you're either on the right side or the wrong side of that, because the decisions are decisions. Some people are going to be happy and some aren't. But ultimately making the hardest decisions, because a captain will make decisions, but they're broadly to the benefit of the team, aren't they? The captain's rarely going to ask the team to do something they really don't want to do, because the direction's already agreed. Yeah. and everything we do relating to the team is 100% sped up. You know, if we've got a problem with a player and we feel that we've got to cut the player, that's not going through 6 months of employment law.
Yeah.
It's just happening.
Yeah.
A decision will be taken on the Tuesday and it will have happened on the Wednesday morning, and, you know, having to arrange for a horrible when it does happen, but having to arrange for that player to then move out of the property and on a flight to somewhere else, and working with that agent to see that we can find a way to get that player placed somewhere else even.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we're very rarely cutting a player because they're a bad person. It's just they've not fit, they've not brought all the bits that we needed in that role to the team, and the coaches felt he needed a change. But it's that's not a slow motion thing. So yeah, it's all on fast forward.
One final one from me is kind of successful business owners and entrepreneurs. If there's one piece of advice you would give to other North East business people, drawing on your experience, what would it be?
I would say if it's something you're passionate and really believe in, stay positive. You'll find a way through it. And always take advice. Find good mentors, people who believe in what you can do, and don't listen to the people who don't.
Very good.
Yeah, be resilient. If it's something you really want to do, be resilient, because you know the stats on failed businesses. I'm sure they're still the same as they were decades ago. We could have been a failed business many times over, but we haven't, because we're resilient, stubborn, passionate about doing this. That changes over the years, but we're still, you know, we're still sort of hanging in there, aren't we? We're still doing it, and we still want to do it.
Old.
Yeah.
We're in I think the new generation we've just gone into, the new decade we've just gone into, it makes this even harder.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's 30 years this year coming, and you're not that far away from that, are you? So it's a long time in any job, ultimately. So you've got to be super passionate on that basis. And I think that's what we are.
Yeah.
Differently to the passionate we were 30 years ago, maybe.
But the passion's still coming through. You can hear when you speak.
Yeah.
Kind of that desire, that willingness to get better, the legacy that you want, or the legacy of the business to improve it going forward on and off the court. It's brilliant. Thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Thoroughly enjoyed
Thank you.
that. Thank you very much.